Well, Adnan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Sherlock.
It's awesome to have you over here, man. Like it's true honor. You have no idea how inspiring you are to people around you. I'm really happy to have you over.
I'm
So
happy to be here today. Thank you.
great. I don't mean to be taking much of your time, so if you don't mind, I'm going to dive into the questions. And
Sure.
I have given a small introduction of you, but people don't know what exactly you do. So why not we start with that? Please tell our audience what very shortly who you are and what you do.
Who I am is, first of all, I'm a friend to humanity, right? Second of all, I'm a father, right? Third thing is I'm a husband, right? And devoted husband. And fourth thing, I'm a teacher. And the fifth thing is I'm a business person. Right? I call myself the business monk, right? And then because people think I'm in business, but I have the qualities of a monk, right? And what I teach, what I do is I teach people about how money works, right? I help them save money and also make more money. That's essentially what I do. So if you ask me
Absolutely.
more questions, I can delve into it more. Go ahead.
Perfect. So, based on what I understand, is that you work in financial industry, financial and insurance industry. Now, I'm sure there's a big story behind this because I know you are a man of many hats. So let's get into that. Can you tell me when and why you even decided to get into this?
Great question. I grew up in Bangladesh, one of the poorest countries in the world, and it's also a Muslim country, like a very strict Muslim country, right? I would say 95% of the population are very strict Muslim. So people would pray 5 times a day, and then at night I would see my uncles go drinking and partying. So I just felt very out of place in that world, right? So I'm like, this is so hypocritical. Like you're saying something, you're doing exactly the opposite. So I was always looking for a mentor. So in my life, so okay, how can I follow somebody who can teach me the principles of life and how to be successful? I was looking for that person. And my father was too busy running a business, same as my grandfather. These were my mentors, but I never got to see them as much because they were so busy. And fortunately, in school, I met one of my professors. He was my economics professor. And he saw that I was very different from the other children. He saw that I was playing cricket during the day. I was literally practicing with a coach, right? Part of a team. And also, I was doing martial arts at night. And I would always do my homework, always be on time, always be dressed, right? So he saw I was very serious as a student. So he said, okay, Adnan, I have a job for you. Would you like to work with me, right, in your spare time? I said, sure, professor, whatever you want. You're the teacher, I'm the student. Anything you say, I'll do it. So he sent me to these remote villages in Bangladesh, and I was helping these poor Muslim women get off the streets. And we were teaching them about, so that's my genesis about finance. I learned about money, right? Helping these poor women. So they could buy a milk, they can sell the cow. And guess what? They're an entrepreneur, right? They can buy some material, make this shirt, sell it in the public market. Guess what? They become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur doesn't have to be Donald Trump with a big Trump building, right? Entrepreneur could be that poor woman in that village, right? So that's what I learned. So my whole world changed when I thought about it clearly. I say, wow, that's entrepreneurship too. And little did I know that those few women, I was helping like 5 women at a time in a village, that in when I was working with him in '97, and by 2007, this professor has helped 10 million people get off the streets in Bangladesh. And he ended up winning the Nobel Prize for Peace in 2006. So that's my professor, Dr. Muhammad Yunus. And and I got a scholarship to go study in England, right? It was a very small scholarship, but I had to go work as well as study. And my professor said something very nice. He said, Adnan, it's not how much money you make in life, it's how much impact you have with what you do. Always think about impact. Always think. And he also said that it's not you can make a lot of money serving a few people, and you can make a lot of money serving many people. Always choose a place that can serve many people. You'll be happier as an end result, and if money you get paid, that's a byproduct, right? So he told me these two little things, and the last thing he told me is that if there's 10 people in a room, all 10 people have potential in life to be successful. All 10 of them, everybody has potential, but only one or two have the commitment to actually do it. So he warned me, always work with the committed. Never work with potential. Always find committed people for your cause, and then and work with them. It could be that one person. They could be the wrong person. They could be wearing the wrong clothes, or went to the wrong school or wrong university, or they could have no experience. But if they're committed, that's the person you need to work with. You need to train them and take them under your wing and guide them. And then I went to England. I got 3 business degrees, and then I was working with Merrill Lynch, one of the biggest investment banks in the world. So I saw finance from the poor person's perspective. Then I saw finance from the richest people's perspective. And how they look at finance is very different. Like the poor person, they think of finance as today. Can I eat today? The money I have, can I eat today? The middle class people, middle income people, they think finance per month. Can I eat this month? Can I pay all my bills this month? But the rich person that I work with, they think, can I eat for 100 years? It's the same money, but how they look at it is different. And fortunately or unfortunately, my brother was part of the 9/11 attacks in New York. That's when I decided to immigrate to Canada, and I couldn't get back into the financial industry. My degrees were not Canadian, British degrees, and my global work experience meant nothing to the top 5 Canadian banks here. And they said, you can start as a teller, it'll take you like 30 years to be an investment banker again. So I was in my mid 20s at the time. I was like, man, I don't want to be 55 years old before I start my career again. So I actually did not get into finance in Toronto. I got into real estate. I had a real estate business, and then in 2008, I lost everything in 2008. And I decided to move to Vancouver. And I started in the financial industry back in one of the big 5 Canadian banks 10 years ago as a senior financial planner. And when 2009 happened, I got laid off again, and I could never get back in. So it was a really tough situation that I lost my career, and I have nothing else to do. But I remembered my teacher in school, the professor who won the Nobel Prize. I also remembered my karate sensei. My sensei we had this running joke between me and my sensei. So whenever I told him, Sensei, I'm an investment banker, he would write one question back, are you a teacher yet? Right? I said, Sensei, I'm a real estate business owner. He wrote back, are you a teacher yet? Right? So, Sensei, I'm now in the big 5 Canadian banks, a senior financial planner. He wrote back, are you a teacher yet? So I was like, why are you telling me that question, right? I kept asking the same question. So that question came and hit me like a ton of bricks 10 years ago. So, yeah, am I a teacher yet? They're like, so I didn't realize it. So I went to school, college, university, and fortunately somebody gave me a chance, and I became a professor, part-time professor at first at UBC, then some of the private schools, private colleges, right? And that became my career. And 5 years ago, my wife found this company called World Financial Group, which was close to our home. She said, hey, you're so sad, you're a teacher, you're having fun, but I see the sadness in you, that you still miss finance, right? You still miss helping people with money. Why don't you go and check it out, right? And see what they're about. So I went to one of their seminars, and they were presenting their business plan, and I really liked it. Nobody had to twist my arm. I decided to be part of the company, and I've been working ever since. So that's my history of finance.
Wow, that's amazing. That is something. Actually, so I know the story. We have talked about it before. I'm pretty sure people who are hearing this, they're going to be like, so he fell 2 or 3 times and he's up again. Well, that is inspiring, Adnan. That's
I
amazing.
just got laid off for many, many companies. Last 17 years, maybe like it happened 10 times. 10 time layoffs. You know why, Sarwar? For being the best.
Wow, that
I
is
got laid off
something.
for being the best, right? I became a threat to the managers, the other, up and coming people, right? And everybody, got me laid off. So that was really interesting as well, right? How can you get rid of for being the best?
Well,
So
it's good because when what do they say when you hit rock bottom at something, you have nowhere to go but up, right? And that's where you are.
happened many times, yes, too many
Yeah.
times.
I don't know then if I should ask my next question because you have already
Go ahead.
told me a bunch of examples of it, but I wanted to ask you about the biggest obstacle you had to overcome to becoming in becoming the person that you are and becoming the business person that you are today. So I don't know if it's going to be one of the things you already told us or a total different story, but if you want to select one item as the hardest thing that you had to do, the biggest problem that you had to overcome, what do you think that was?
Biggest thing for me to overcome is that, like while I was in real estate school, one of my teachers said something very nice. You know, if you think about a horse, right? And the horse is, with a carriage, horse has blinkers, right? So they put blinkers on the horse, so the horse, horse has eyes on the two sides of the head, so they can see 360 degrees. We only see 180 degrees. So they put the blinkers on so that they could see only the road, right? They don't see anywhere else, so they can walk properly. So this lady said something very nice. She said, "Blinkers off. You're a new immigrant. Take the blinkers off. Try to see everything. Sometimes, as new immigrants, we come. Oh, I was a banker before. I should be a banker here. I was a doctor before. I should be a doctor here. I was a engineer before. I should be an engineer here. No such thing. This Canada, this country doesn't owe us anything.
That is
Doesn't owe us. I think John F. Kennedy said it like it's not what the country can do for you, right? What can you do for your country, right? So similar vein, right? So and we are actually not. We don't have a right for anything. If you think about it, we are privileged to be here. You know, I come from Bangladesh. Hundreds of thousands of people apply. Millions of people could be, in a year apply to Canada, but only a few thousand get in. That means what? I'm privileged to be here, right? I don't have that big ego about like, hey, this country owes me something. No, no, no. I have to do something for this country. This country has given me a privilege to be here, to live in Vancouver, one of the nicest places in the world. I have clean air, clean food, clean water. Half the world's population is fighting for these three things. Half the world's population live on less than $1 a day. If there's
yes.
7 billion people on the planet, 3.5 billion live below the poverty line. They don't have clean air, clean food, clean water. So that's something I never take for granted. So every day out of the ground, I feel like I'm lucky, I'm happy, and then I always think about what can I do for others, right? And I always say leadership starts at home. If you're a leader at home, you can be a leader outside for
That is
human
true.
beings, right? And I want to be a leader for new immigrants to give them hope. Like, look, you're here, you made it. Yes, you can't get that job. Yes, you can't start your career, but there are other things you can do. If you take the blinkers off, you will see it. Say, oh, I was a professor before. Oh, I can be a teacher now. Oh, I was a banker before. I can work in World Financial Group as well. Like if the bank doesn't hire me. Like so, as an example, there's so many things you can do. Why are you looking at what's not there?
Absolutely.
This
So
is
that gets me to one of my final questions, Adnan. Let's say I'm a new immigrant to Canada and I am in financial industry.
yeah.
And what is your advice to somebody who is at the beginning of the road, somewhere you were, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, whenever you came to Canada? If I am fresh, what the expression they say off the boat, but I'm just starting, I want to start a career in financial industry in Canada. What do you think? Where do you think I should get started?
Well, there's different parts of the industry in Canada, right? There's the investment banks, there's insurance companies and big banks, right? And most of the financial industry, they hire people straight out of school, right? And they have gone to Canadian universities. They have Canadian degrees, Canadian and the internship experience. They don't hire us new immigrants because they're afraid what we will do to their clients. Maybe we will get into lawsuits. This is their biggest fear. And I'm telling you, like without any sugar coating, right? Their biggest fear is we might say the wrong thing and we might get them into a lawsuit. This is the biggest fear of HR, right? In the financial industry. So the financial industry it will also start you at the very bottom, right? You have to go through the whole rigmarole, right? Starting as a teller, like a 50-year-old teller. There are 50-year-old tellers in Canada, right? And I asked them, why are you a teller? They say, oh, I was a banker before, and this is the only job I could get just to keep my title. So that's one positive or negative part of the industry. But the why I liked World Financial Group, it gives everybody that equal platform. Like I don't care where you come from. I don't care what experience you have. You start Like everybody else, we are all business partners. As a business partner, you get a lot more tax benefits than if you're an employee, right? You share the profits of the company. You get paid for your clients. You get paid to build a team. You get paid, if you do well as a manager, right? You get paid bonuses and so many things you get offered. So as a new immigrant, World Financial Group is one of the best platforms, right? To understand the system. It's like you're from Iran, I'm from Bangladesh. There's a sport we both like, right? Maybe soccer, right? But if you don't know the rules of soccer, you're on the pitch, you're in a World Cup game, you don't know the rules. Can you ever score a goal against Germany, the best team?
That is well said. No.
No, you need to know the rules of the game. So the sooner you know the rules of the game, the sooner you know the system, you understand how the system works, the faster you can get in this country, right? The faster. Yeah, maybe World Financial Group may not be for you later on, right? Maybe you'd want to start your own business. Maybe you'd like to go back to the industry, right? And that experience would count for you because at World Financial we teach you A to Z of the industry. There's 77 companies in Canada. We have contracts with all 77 of them, right? So you get a pretty good understanding of how money works. And I was telling you right before our recording that 91% of the Canadian population cannot retire at age 65. So, Sherlock, if you had a business that served 91% of the population, what kind of business are you going to have?
I'm not sure what you're getting at there.
It's the number of customers, right? Think about it, the clients. If 91% of the population are your clients, you could have a very big company.
Of course.
You could be very successful serving the 91%, right? Which is about 37 million people. That's about 33 million people are your customers.
It's massive.
So it's massive opportunity, massive need as well. So in Canada, a lot of people are retiring. In the whole industry, there's about 15,000 licensed advisors, right? And there's 15 million people retiring.
Wow.
So if you look at the percentage amount, we are at 0.1% of the market right now. Not even 1%. To serve 1% of the population, we need 150,000 licensed people, right? So we are at 15,000. We need to grow 10 times in the next 5 years. Otherwise, you're right, we will miss the boat. We are off the boat, right? But we will miss the boat, right? So
I see
this is
what you're saying.
okay.
I see what you're saying. That is actually very true. So what you're saying is it makes a lot of sense. Especially, it's unfortunate that big banks don't give the opportunity to people like us who enter the country. But then when there are organizations like such as yours that are gracious enough to give that chance to people, then that's amazing. That's actually very good. So I don't mean to be taking any more of your time, Adnan Sarwar. You have been amazing. You have a very inspirational story. I want I want to let you go, but before you go, please tell us what's happening in your life. What services, what products are you offering right now? What do you have baking in the oven? What's going on?
COVID-19 is happening. So let's talk a reality, right? COVID-19, 44% of the population have gone to the government to get some funding. That's half the population. And if you add up people who did not qualify, like business owners like us, we don't have payroll, so we did not qualify, right? There are people who are on disability, they did not qualify. There are people who are on EI already, they don't qualify for those extra funding. So if you add up the numbers, we are close to like 60-70% of the population. So right now we are going through this medical health crisis, but after the health crisis, Sherlock, we will have a financial crisis like we haven't seen before. Canadians have gone from being one of the most prudent in the G8 countries to the most debt ridden. We just won the gold medal in debt as consumers. We
Yeah.
beat America just now. We racked up our credit cards, our lines of credits. If we had paid off our mortgage, we re-borrowed money from our mortgages, right? Any kind of loan we could get, we racked up the debt. So Canadians, so at World Financial Group, we have a lot of work to do, right? And now we are working. The exciting thing is that the industry before, we deal with banks, investment company, insurance companies. We deal with the products and services. A lot of paperwork in those companies. Like a lot of paper gets wasted. Now, since the last 4 weeks, almost a month now, we are able to do our work 100% online.
That's amazing.
100%. I don't have to see you. You don't have to see me. You can have e-documents you can sign over the internet, right? We can do our work 100% online. We will get paid 100% online. We do all our meetings 100% online. We don't even have to go to the office right now, right? We do all our meetings in Zoom calls with like 10,000 people. So that's what I'm really excited about, to give people the opportunity to work with us, right? Even part time, right? Because if COVID-19 finishes, a lot of companies will lay off a lot of people, right? People who are laid off, maybe those companies shut down. Then where do you go back to? So it's good to have a plan B career, right? In
Absolutely.
terms of finance, people actually need, Canadians are one of the most underinsured in the G8. 65% of Canadians don't have proper life insurance, will, and estate planning set up. That means what? If you pass away, knock on wood, the government can easily take 50% of your assets,
Wow.
and your family will get it after 10 years. But if you have proper life insurance in place, proper critical illness in place, proper will and estate in place, your family will get it within 10 business days.
That's
90%
amazing.
of your assets. So would you like to give 50% to your government and to your family after 10 years, or would you like to give 90% in like 10 days? Is that okay?
90%, please.
So you understand. So we have a lot of work to do. This year, 2020 is going to be a bumper year for us because we want to help as many people as possible about proper financial planning, but we also want to give people a choice of a new career in 2020. So because when COVID-19 is over, we don't know what the world will look like,
Exactly.
right? We have to think out of the box right now. We have, like what you're doing, you say you're on your laptop, you're glued to your laptop. I'm like that. I've been online the last month, I've had almost 120 meetings, right? And this year I want to have 1,200 meetings. I have to do 10 times of what I did in 1 month, right? That's my goal. Like, can I talk to 1,200 people at least about what I'm doing? So
Well,
that's
best of luck. Best
excited.
of luck on that, my friend. I
Thank you.
believe you can. I mean, the Adnan, I'm getting to know now. I'm pretty sure 1,200, make it 12,000. I think you can.
12,000, all right. That's a bet. Okay.
Fingers crossed, my friend. So, first, I want to say huge thank you to you for your time. You've been more than generous with your time. And then I want to turn my head to my audience and say two things. Number one, everybody is hit with this COVID-19 thing. So I'm pretty sure everyone, including me myself, need the advice of somebody like you who knows how the market's going to change, who knows how financial condition of the whole country is basically how turbulent it is and how it's going to be for the next maybe 2 3 years. So if there is somebody who needs an advisor, which most probably we all are, Adnan is the person to go to and talk to. He's very extremely wise and a very hands-on person in terms of the finance industry. You've been in the industry for God knows how many years, so I
20
think you know
years
it
now.
better than
20 years
anyone.
at least. 20 years, yes.
20 years. So, wow, knock on the wood, my friend. But I want to turn my face again to the second group of my audience, and that is if you are an immigrant like us, but you have just landed, you have just entered Canada, and you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that is happening, especially with the condition that we have at hand, and you think, oh, my future is uncertain. No, my friends, we have all been through this. I do recommend you get in touch with Adnan Sarwar. He is the person to follow. He is the person who knows the way. And I cannot
I've been
thank
in
him
their
enough
shoes.
for appearing on my Pokey show.
I have been in their shoes. I've been in their shoes, and it hurts, right? And I know the pain, and I've overcome it. So if I can help even 1%, just 1%, like not feel that pain, right? I would have lived my life properly in Canada. This is my contribution to Canada and Canadians and new immigrants and all of society. If 1%, if I can help, just 1%, I would
I'm
have done
sure
my
you
job.
can, Adnan. I want to thank you again. I really appreciate your time.